There's a guy who knows how to make an entrance. Holy smokes, well done. Guys, for some of you, this is the first time being together since 2019, so we're going to rewind the tape a little bit, discuss that historic run. Jacob, where are you, Snake? There you are. 22 years old. You were 22, the youngest guy on the team at that time. Your first full NHL season, you win the cup. Did you realize at that time how lucky you would be? I mean, there were guys who played many, many, many years who would never win it.
Hello, everyone. Great to see you guys again. You know what? I think at the time I didn't realize how special it is, and I can say I consider myself being really lucky to be a part of such an amazing group of guys, and you know, the leaders on the team and the other guys that's been in the league for years. They took really good care of me and all the other younger guys, and you know, they've been good to us. They you know, help us getting comfortable in the league, and you know, that year will always stuck in my heart. It will always be with me forever, and yeah, I'm really happy to be part of that team.
And there's a whole lot of people in the room tonight who are happy to see that you're back. Welcome home. Devontae, when kids grow up playing street hockey, they dream about scoring all the goals that you scored, basically in the spring of 2018. How did your confidence grow and your ability to deliver those key goals over that 2-month stretch?
I don't know. No, it's hard to explain. I just wanted to, you know, contribute and be a part of a winning team. So I don't really have an answer for why it happened, but I'm extremely grateful that, you know, I was a part of the journey with these guys.
And the fans cheer 3 letters constantly: DSP, DSP. For Tom Wilson, Stanley Cup's the most difficult trophy to win in sports, Tom. It's incredibly demanding physically, mentally. Can you describe the toll that it took on you and your teammates to win it all?
Yeah, it's hard, but it's a lot of fun. You're with your best buddies on an absolute grind, trying to accomplish all of our dreams. And I think every game we go out there and we try and wear out the other team and make their lives as difficult as possible, to put it politely. But that takes a toll on your body as well. So, you know, I didn't think too much of it during the run because you're just having so much fun with your buddies and chasing our dream. But, you know, it's the hardest trophy, I think, to win in sports. And I don't think we felt the bumps and bruises when we were partying at the end of it all.
No, you weren't. Very, very happily so. Brooks Orpik, you were the most experienced postseason player on that team in 2018. Your teammates looked up to you for leadership, for guidance. What was the most important message that you delivered throughout that Stanley Cup run to them?
I don't know if I delivered it verbally, Joe. I just think I think at that point, after the failures we had in previous years, I think we were all very aware that the margin of victory or losing was so slim. Sometimes it was out of your control. You need a little bit of luck too, but I don't know. I look back at some of the teams. Maybe they were better on paper, but that team that won it for whatever reason, when you look back, everybody accepted their roles probably better than other years, and it sounds cheesy, but guys were so genuinely kind of pulling for the next guy that I think in the end it turned into a real resilient group because of that.
And you battled through a pretty gruesome injury to lead them all the way. Fantastic work by you. Braden, I know that you prefer, Braden, to make saves in an unspectacular way, but you're going to forever be remembered for what you did late in Game 2 of that Vegas series. After a really bad bounce, how'd you regain your composure and make that stop?
I don't know. I mean, you just try and stick with every play. That's just the idea. If you're in the moment and you know, trust your training. You know, you see a puck on the glass, you stay in your net for that exact reason. And it just kind of got fortunate that way. But I mean, it's one of those things that you talk about that, but you watch that video up there and you see those goals and you're like, whoa, that was a big goal. I remember that. Whoa, that was a big goal. I remember that. So like you look at that moment, but there were so many that compiled to create that success we had that year.
Pretty great time to make that stop. Just the right time, in fact. John, if I remember the aftermath correctly, showing up backstage at the parade, I'm pretty sure I saw your baby Rudy at the time in the Stanley Cup. What are your greatest memories from that day's citywide celebration?
Well, I think a lot of them. I think obviously seeing the fans, I think there's, you know, arguably this is the best city to have a parade in. I think with the great fans, with the amazing history, especially being American, it's great to do it here. And like you said, having my son during the Pittsburgh series, you always kind of fall back after winning, after, you know, it's us, after it's all what we've been able to accomplish personally to lead us to that point, to be on this team, to work together to win, to also share it with your loved ones. And I know he's here tonight. I'm sure he's excited to see it in a different way. I don't know if he remembers much, so it's special for that next generation too.
Can't fit him in the bowl anymore. Can't fit him there anymore. TJ, you were at the top of the list when it came to having fun with the Caps being Stanley Cup champions, for sure. Now, I realize it may be a blur now, but what's your favorite recollection of all that celebration?
Favorite is probably a tough one to answer. I got a tattoo to kind of show for the fun we had. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, the parade is tough to top. Anyone here that was out there with us that day, it was you guys made that day absolutely special, and we were all extremely hungover getting on the buses. So that was a special time. Gosh, the fountain was pretty amazing. There were so many little moments, whether we were at a bar or a restaurant, where there'd be a crowd of Caps fans that one way or another, I guess, found out where we were and would come out and would party in the streets, and we'd bring the cup out and we'd all celebrate together. So I think, I don't know, I guess I get too upset when other teams win the cup, so I don't watch their celebrations, but it seemed like ours was so much more special because we were able to share it with you guys, who are such a big part of what we do on the ice. So the whole thing was just super special for us to share it together and also share it with the city.
Honesty will get you everywhere with this group, TJ. Well done. Nicklas, to me, the visual that everybody instantly remembers is the shot of you and Alex holding the cup together on the ice in Vegas. After all of the playoff disappointments, how much of a relief was this for you, for Alex, for all of your mates, to finally get this across the finish line and win the cup?
Yeah, I mean, I think you put the right word there, relief instead of happiness to start, because it was, yeah, I mean, I think as an athlete, and for me as a hockey player, I mean, I basically came here when I was 19, and I had one goal in mind, to win the Stanley Cup. And to be able to achieve that, I mean, I think it's special. And with all the guys sitting here, I mean, we created such a bond that year, which is unbelievable, and I'm never gonna forget it. And obviously, we didn't even bond with us. We bonded with you guys because we're all winners here. So I think, yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible moment that I'm never gonna forget.
You watch the video, you see the relief, you see the emotion on all of their faces. Just an amazing time for us as Capitals fans. Alex, there were so many reaction shots of you on the bench, hanging on every twist, on every turn. When the final buzzer sounded, describe to us the burst of emotion that erupted from you.
Even if I watched the video, like the last game of the when we won the cup, I don't remember. I was blocked out. The celebration, first 5-10 minutes, you was so happy because, how you said, relief. It was probably the best moment in my life besides the family, like kids and different stuff. But how Nika said, when you're an athlete, when you have a dream to win the Stanley Cup or win whatever it is, it's something special, and you just give all your emotions, give all your heart for happiness, enjoyment, and celebrating. So I'm pretty sure we won the cup, but I think if it was a nominee in the whole world who would have a best celebration when you win something, I think it's Washington Capitals.
There we go. The screams and the shrieks of joy coming from the dressing room while they were celebrating with all that champagne, something I will never, ever forget. Phil, you famously get to accompany the Stanley Cup's visit to players' hometowns, special gatherings. How much fun did you have in the summer of 2018?
Well, I didn't know how many bars there was in Georgetown, Virginia, and Washington. I learned about keg stands. I learned about swimming in water fountains. We watched TJ drink beer through his hockey jersey. And that was only week one. The guys didn't even have the cup then. So 8 countries later and a world tour, it was pretty amazing. And a lot of beer was drank.
Not a bad world tour. Not a bad world tour. Fellas, this has been great. We want to finish by asking you, going around the table now, to chime in with one final answer to this question. It's 6 years later, all of a sudden. When you think about celebrating the championship, if I asked you to write down one reason why you were victorious, Brooks Orpik, what would it be? One reason why you were victorious that spring.
Probably a little repetitive to my answer before, but I think we genuinely just really cared for each other, and then when things weren't going our way, maybe in previous years that would cause some division, and I don't know, for whatever reason that whole year we had a lot of bumps that year, and I don't know, we just kept on moving, but I think it was because of how much we cared for each other as people.
Devo, you're next. What was the difference maker?
I'm going to copy Orpik. But, no, to piggyback Orpik, I had never played on a team that spent so much time together, so many team parties. Anytime someone signed a contract, we went out for dinner and a couple drinks. We had dart tournaments and bowling tournaments and all these different type of team activities that I think in the end, we really, really cared about each other and were willing to do anything for us to win.
It was a fun ride, Braden. Why did it finish so successfully?
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I thought we just played free. I think the 2 previous years we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as thinking it was Stanley Cup or nothing. And then that year, there was a lot of changes, a lot of different. We had some phenomenal new faces, new energy come in, and we came to the playoffs as if we just went and played. We weren't thinking about anything else. We just played free.
Jacob, one reason, one bullet point.
So I think, it was just so much fun to come into the rink every day. Either it was practice, game, whatever we had going on together. I think the group was really tight. Even on the road, sometimes, we would just hang out together in a lounge, and sometimes I would bring sticks with me, and we would just be gaming and having these competition games, because we're competitive people, right? In whatever we do, we want to win, and And, you know, just the last thing to imagine was the season to be ending, you know, just we didn't want it. Like, we really wanted to, you know, be together, and we wanted to really do this. And, yeah, it was amazing.
Tom Wilson, why was that spring different than all the rest?
I think what these guys are saying, it was really easy to play for the guy next to you. We were all really tight. I remember one thing, we were down 2 to Columbus in the first round, and things weren't looking great. And I was coming out to play soccer warm-up before the game, and somebody was on the ground laughing about something that had happened in the soccer game. And I just remember thinking, like, hey, we're in this tight pressure environment, and as a group, we're still having so much fun. And there was so much of that throughout that whole season in the playoffs. I'll never forget it. These guys, I think we all have each other's backs forever. It was a great ride.
That was great. It never got too heavy. TJ, why? What was the difference? What was the reason that that team was a champion?
Yeah, I'm glad you skipped to me, because being last on this list is it's a tough one. It will probably be a constant theme of how close this team was, and the guys have already touched on it. So I'll pivot a little bit just to change up the answer a little. But there was and Brooksy touched on it a little bit. The years prior, it almost felt like we were too good not to win, and there was almost this fear that, like, we were just playing too well. We were winning too many games to not win the Stanley Cup. And this year, and this team was a little bit different. Where, I mean, I don't want to swear on here, but we were just kind of like, F it. Like, we're just gonna play. We're gonna play our game, and no matter what happens, we're gonna continue playing our game, and we believe that after 7 games that we are going to wear another team down and we're going to win. And you see it throughout the entire playoffs that we just stuck with whatever we were doing. Like Tom said, we were not worried about mistakes, games, if we were up, if we were down. We just continuously worked and wore other teams down to the point where they're, you know, yelling at each other going back to the bench. It was really an amazing sight, and that's, you know, at that point, we knew we had them. We had to keep playing. So the team never quit. We stuck with what we knew, what we thought would win, and ended up working out.
John, if memory serves, the Caps trailed in every round of the playoffs in that spring. Why were you able, as a group, to overcome those deficits?
Well, I think it falls back on having some really good players. That helps. But I think the whole playoff run was defined by overcoming something, it felt like, and whether that was a lead, whether that was key injuries, guys being out for bits and pieces of it. It seemed like every time a new guy would come into the lineup, they'd score the first game, and it was just that one after another. And I also just think the depth of the team was, like Osh said, it didn't matter who you were, where you were playing. Just watching that again, you remember oh my God, that was such a big goal. It's seemingly every single game, it was someone new. It was one line one game, it was one line the other, and what have you. So obviously they're all cliches for what it takes, obviously, against great teams. But I think just being able to overcome all those certain things throughout, you know, a series, a game, or the whole run was special.
Nicklas, 6 years later now, all those playoff tournaments that you were in, why was this one different?
I think a lot of guys have touched on it already, but I would want to say team bonding and how we cared for each other and how we played as a team. And I think it's easier now afterwards to realize that how tight we were as a group, how much we care for each other. When you hear new players come into this organization and say, they're actually like, oh my God, you guys are so close to each other, which is impressive. So that actually answers the question. Like, that's basically what I thought we won. Because we played as a team, we care for each other, we're really good friends.
There we go. Oh, you get the last word. If you had to write it down, one reason why the team won the championship in 2018, what would that one reason be?
I think we're all together, like we was tight as a team because how everybody said, we won't gonna be sucked this year. We're Stanley Cup champions, so yeah. I think this is it.
It's a pretty darn good group of guys up here. We wrap up this delightful remembrance. We're going to recapture the moment with them. All of you guys, please, front and center for a team photo. Bring in the cup too. Let's get the cup in. Center stage, fellas.